I feel like the Republicans aren't making enough noise about the Democrat intransigence there. So, like I say, everybody's obsessed with their messaging, but it doesn't seem like the right messaging is working right now.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with Managing Editor Chris Irvine.
Hi.
Chris, the shutdown is still going on.
Yep.
You've been referring to it as Groundhog Day here in the newsroom. And what does an off-ramp look like at this point?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's, it feels like there's no end in sight, and as someone who's kind of coming to it almost halfway through, for reasons. It feels like there is perhaps the Republicans on the Senate side maybe kind of want to figure something out. That now, by the time we're recording this on Thursday morning, there is a bill for Pentagon funding that there seem to be indications that, hey, maybe you want to play ball with us and we can get something done, but we think it's probably not going to pass, and then the Senate will just kind of go home, and here we are again next week. Mike Johnson seems pretty dug in on the House Republican side, as does Hakeem Jeffries on the Democrat side, and I don't think either side wants to be seen to blink first, I suppose. But it just leads to this inertia and Groundhog Day, as you say, where every day seems to be the same. They're very into their messaging. They love a bit of messaging, and they have their press conferences, dueling press conferences every day. But I just don't think it's really getting us anywhere. There's a lot of frustrated lawmakers who are at home right now who kind of want to be working and doing stuff. And I don't think it's really serving anybody any good the longer this drags on. So to go back to your question on is there an off-ramp, like I don't know.
Well, no one knows apparently.
Yeah.
This might be a dumb procedural question.
Sure.
But the CR that House Republicans say they did their job, we passed it, that would have kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit, would expire right before Thanksgiving, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So at this point, you've already eaten up like almost half the time that you would have had to negotiate a deal on extending Obamacare subsidies or anything else that Republicans wanted. Is there a chance at this point that you're talking about the Senate Republicans and Democrats trying to move ahead with a regular appropriations process? Is there a chance that we just skip another CR and we go right into
I think that's
funding the budget?
I think it's a very real possibility. And speaking to the House reporters today, they had thought that maybe that might be there's a bit of a ticking clock element here about that, and that would require getting the House back in to do their job and to make sure that doesn't happen. But that's getting closer and closer, and Johnson, as things stand right now, doesn't seem to be blinking on that. Now, maybe in a week's time or beyond that, that's when they kind of get into gear. But for now, it seems they're quite happy to keep doing it. And it does provide then the Trump administration to go ahead with their plans to cull the federal workforce. And there's been a lot of that, obviously. Some of it has been, I think, blocked by the courts, so we'll kind of see where that goes. But it does give them pretty good cover to kind of go and reform the federal government as they see fit.
When Democrats started out not voting for the CR, letting the government shut down, some of their demands included undoing all the wins Republicans had just won in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act when it comes to Medicaid expansions. We don't seem to hear a lot of that anymore from Democrats. The Republicans, I don't know, the healthcare for illegal immigrants thing seems to neutralize that, but we are hearing still about the Obamacare subsidies. That seems to be their remaining ask.
Yeah.
What would a deal look like on that?
Well, I think the Democrats do have to realize that they need to play ball, and for some reason I don't know if that's a kind of losing strategy on their part, where they need to seem to be playing hardball right now and not relenting.
Like the fight is the whole point. There's no
for
actual.
Sure, yeah, and they have to. Look, I'm not sure what that would end up looking like, to be brutally honest, but I think they'll have to kind of relent on something. That's the game of politics, isn't it? That's the game of negotiations. You don't get everything that you want. So what does that look like ultimately, where both sides kind of come away with something? But you're right, and I am confused that I feel like the Republicans aren't making enough noise about the Democrat intransigence there. So, like I say, everybody's obsessed with their messaging, but it doesn't seem like the right messaging is working right now.
Well, it seems to me that it's sort of remarkable the amount of unity you're seeing on both sides. I mean, Democrats are lockstep, Republicans are also pretty lockstep on the messaging. You have some coming out and saying, let's do something on the ACA, but Republicans were always going to save that for after the CR, right? They have no incentive to give in to that now, because then, in 7 weeks or whatever, when the government shuts down again, they've played their last chip, the Democrats will want something else. So do you think that we'll have to see some of that unity break down on one or the other side for this to move?
I guess you got to give leadership credit on both sides. Where were we a couple of years ago with Kevin McCarthy and the House Republicans just kind of falling apart at the seams? But Johnson, to his credit, I think has been very disciplined, and he does have obviously the Trump cudgel in his back pocket to use should he need to. But you're right. For the most part, they seem unified, as do the Democrats, and they'll have to kind of probe those pressure points and see if there is a breakaway group that they can get at. What would that look like? Maybe that's people who are in very tight races, potentially in a year's time. Maybe it's retiring members who have no skin in the game anymore. But one other thing that I do want to just kind of highlight is as well as the kind of unified front, I think they're showing a completely unified out of touch front. And they keep putting, I think, this is my opinion, I think they keep putting their foot in the fact that they're having these, every so often you'll see these kind of glitzy galas that they're attending, and these retreats in Napa Valley. And then there was the one that really kind of got me this week was the birthday party for baby dog Justice.
One of your favorite animals
one of my favorite
in the world.
Animals, yeah, of course, of Senator Jim Justice's bulldog that he parades round, and everybody has to get their picture with them. It was the dog's birthday. It looked like there was just this massive party, and it's like, guys, is this seriously like a Marie Antoinette let them eat cake moment? I know that there is the kind argument is these people want to just kind of blow off steam, but I think it comes across as hugely out of touch when there's federal workers who are not getting a paycheck. They're having to kind of fight and come up with money down the back of the Pentagon sofa to fund the troops, and you're having a birthday party for your dog. It doesn't land for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little out of touch in a regular environment.
I love, this is a disclaimer, I love all dogs, but I think that was a little bit on the nose.
Except that one dog, not so much. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
You can get more from Chris and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.